Okay, in this video I want to talk about finding volumes of revolution using the cylindrical shells method. And the function I'm going to use here is y equals negative x squared plus x, which is just a parabola opening downwards. The line y equals 0, which is just the x-axis, so we're going to get the region here that I kind of have lightly shaded in blue. And I went ahead and graphed this parabola, and again you could find the x-intercepts by simply setting this equal to 0. Negative x squared plus x equals 0. You could factor out the x and have negative x plus 1 left over. And then if we solve each one of these pieces individually, we'll get x equals 0 and then x equals 1 as our solutions. So that's where it's hitting the x-axis. And the formula I like to think about when I use shells is I think about it being 2 pi times the shell radius and the shell height. And if we go about a vertical line, when you do shells, if you go about a line up and down, you're always going to integrate with respect to x. So when I draw a little shell, all I do, just inside of my region, just any old place, I just draw a little shell that's parallel to the line I'm going about. And in this case, I'm out some distance x. So to set up this integral, it's going to be 2 pi. You can factor that part out front. The limits of integration, it goes from an x-coordinate of 0 to an x-coordinate of 1. Those are going to be your limits of integration, because that's where the region starts and stops. The shell radius is just the distance from my shell to the line I'm going about. So if I'm rotating about the y-axis, the shell radius in this case would simply be x. So I'll just take x and then multiply that by the shell height. Well, the shell height's like finding areas, and you just take the top curve, subtract away the bottom curve, and that'll give you the shell height. So the shell height in this case will be negative x squared plus x dx, and we now have the setup to find our volume using shells. So if I was actually going to calculate this out, I would probably pull, probably wouldn't pull anything else out just yet. Just distribute the x, make it negative x cubed plus x squared. I'm already integrating, plus x squared dx. And then when you had to integrate that, just use the normal power rule. So it says you would get, so after you integrate, you'll get 2 pi negative x to the 4th over 4 plus x to the 3rd